Previously on Legends of Aelos, the remaining party members, still unaware of the death of Dom, are now split, with Briar having warped Karun and herself out of the room as the guards come in. Now in the hallway, they see that there are many more soldiers about, and more are en route to reinforce those already present. Down the hall, 2 more soldiers come, and Coel appears as well. The princess attempts to stop the guards and inquires as to what is happening, but the guards only convey that there has been an attempt on the king and queen, and that the fated 5 are suspect. Briar implores that they are innocent and were merely having breakfast when the attempted arrests began, but Coel is focused only on discovering what has happened to her parents, and proceeds away from her and Karun as the guards attempt to detain them once more. The 2 elves know that they must escape at this point, and as some of the elite guards from before start down the hallway after them, Karun attempts to hold the 2 that are barring their path, though he only succeeds in paralyzing one. Briar follows up with a spell of invisibility, though, which cloaks them well enough that they are able to slip past and through on into their rooms. The guards were rummaging through the rooms, but Briar and Karun were able to gather up their equipment and depart before they noticed. Though the extra equipment does draw the attention of some guards in the hallway, Briar is able, even though injured, to maintain her invisibility. Karun throws out a distraction that pulls the guards away from a particular room long enough for Briar to be able to lead Karun in and down into the smuggler's passage Coel had led her to before. Meanwhile, Asher, Rowan, and Martizan are still back in the dining hall, with the potential to escape even more bleak than the others. Rowan does what he can to convey non-hostility, despite being accused of conspiring to kill the king when he mentions of hearing Dom call Rowan's name. Asher is able to send a message of the development to Coria, so that she is at least aware of whatever foul plans are at play. They collectively surrender, knowing that any attempts of escape would only cost more life, something that dawns all too heavily when Rowan notices blood seeping out from under the door where he had heard Dom's last shout for him. The 3 captives are led down to the dungeons, stripped of their equipment and dignity, as they are locked away to ponder the myriad of questions running through their heads, themselves the only ones they can speak with on it, along with Asher Asterion, of course, whom is still in captivity from his arrest for attempted patricide. They converse for a while, until eventually Asher Asterion starts having a seemingly one-sided conversation with himself, until they notice a small, cloaked figure. Though no words are heard, its actions are noticed, as it unlocks the door to Asher Asterion's cell, and slowly Asher steps out, and the party listens as the mysterious figure and he walk away and out of the dungeon. Back in the smuggler's passage, with no guards following them or within sight, Briar and Karun take a moment to compose themselves, as Karun also tends to Briar's wounds. Karun utilizes his sending magics to communicate to check on the others, though his thoughts turn bleak when he gets no response from Dominicus. He reaches out to Rowan next, whom validates Karun and Briar's fears for their friend. Due to the constraint of the spell, Rowan informs them that Asher Asterion was there, but is unable to convey what happened precisely. As Karun is sending, Briar is taking stock of what might be missing, and fortunately, the chalice is still in their possession. She stops, however, as emotion overtakes the 2 when she begins to pull out coins, symbols of the team members and their band, the tokens that Dom had sent Tavian to fetch for him. Knowing they cannot wait around any longer, and not wanting to be overcome with emotion, the final message Karun sends for the day is to Porvis, the only individual they can think that might be able to help them as well as maintain their concealment. Luckily, they are able to reach him, and he agrees to help, provided they can make it to him in the sewers. With their friends' fates in the balance, the 2 make their way through the passage and out to the moat below the keep and temple, hoping that whatever magics Karun had noticed observing them was not actively working against them. Karun does not have the magical reserves in place to permit them the ability to water walk, so the two must swim. Fortunately, they are able to make it across without being discovered, and after a generous tip to a guard stationed at one of the sewer portcullises, the two are able to make it into the dank, undercity waterways and eventually meet with Porvis. As Briar and Karun relay the gravity events to Porvis in the dimly lit sluiceway, back in the equally dismal dungeons of the keep, Rowan, Asher Flatfang, and Martizan sit in their cells, pondering what happened to Asterion and lamenting their inability to do anything, save for Asher, whom elects to not utilize his transformational powers at this juncture. As they wait the minutes and hours away, they speak of lighter, more pleasant times, recollections of memories to help see them through the enveloping darkness of the dungeon as well as their situation. As they speak of their loves, current and former, a guard reeking of involvement in the scheme that had played out earlier enters and informs the group that they have a visitor. And as the guard leaves, in enters the familiar face of Inquisitor Jothrind, along with an unfamiliar Naraminian-looking female. Considering the prior interactions between him and Karun, Asher and Rowan are obviously suspicious of his intent, but Jothrind shows a hand that's different than initially anticipated. Despite that there are still motivations that appear to be of self-interest, Jothrind truly seeks the downfall of Mother Catherine, and recognizes that though he cannot save the members from the headsman, that at least he can convey what they know, in hopes of toppling her and her brother, Aiden. Knowing their outcomes to be sparse, and most likely final, Asher and Rowan convey what they know. Jothrind, now satisfied he has what the party members know safely recorded, he begins to take his leave, along with his scribe, and hesitates a moment, a vision of concern washing over her face as she looks upon the prisoners, knowing the fate that lay ahead of them. And it is from here we shall continue the story of the Legends of Aelos.